Hello and welcome to the Bookyard. I'm Sam.
And I'm Kai.
How was your week?
My goodness, my week was good. I know that pickleball has kind of taken the world by storm. I'm a late comer.
Pickle World.
Pickle World. And I'm in the kitchen, but I shouldn't be in the kitchen when I'm serving.
Oh no, that was
Get
so
it?
much worse than I thought.
Pickleball?
Because of pickles?
No.
I know. I just really wanted to see your face if I said that.
I straight up was like, you're a
No,
dumbass.
you genuinely looked at me. It was everything I hoped it would be. I was so excited.
That's one thing. I know you guys don't get to see my face unless you follow us on TikTok. Shameless plug. Follow us there at the Bookyard Pod. But my face, you can kind of see everything I'm absolutely ever thinking on my face unless I really try to guard it.
That is so true. Your facial expressions are so funny, and I purposely sometimes will say things.
You're just rage
And I'll be
baiting
like,
me. My siblings use that all the time, and I saw them pretty recently.
They say rage baiting.
The rage bait
all the time.
all the time.
That's so them though.
You're rage baiting me. Say it all the time. Anyway, so I've been playing pickleball, so that's been kind of fun. But how about your week?
My week has been so fun.
Yeah.
People on this podcast, I'm pretty sure, think I go on like 1,000 vacations because we talk about them all the time. Because whenever we're like, okay, we need to think of something that we did this week or like something crazy.
Yeah.
We're always like, oh my gosh, we could talk about this. And it's always the same things because we just don't do that much. We work a lot and we read and we hang out with our families. So
And each other, and that's really it.
yeah, that's really pretty much it.
That's all we do.
So anyway, my husband and I did book a trip for our 3rd anniversary. That's in October. I think we're going to go a little bit early this year just because my parents are going to be out of town and we like over our anniversary and we all have a dog.
Yeah, where are they going?
They're going to Virginia because my stepbrother and his wife are having a baby. And they're super excited.
What in the world? Did I not know that?
Probably not.
Oh my gosh, I'm learning new Sam lore live here right now.
I know, it's so cute. She's going to be such a good little mom.
Mommy.
Oh. So anyway, they are out of town so they can't watch our dog.
Oh, gotcha.
So we're going to have chorizo over our like anniversary and everything. And we're going to go out of town the week before that.
Oh, okay.
So that we don't have to like get a dog sitter and everything. When you have like 100-pound dog, it's kind of hard.
He's such a big boy.
He's such a big boy and he's so scary to like little kids.
And he's still a puppy, so he still is like hyper and just not very aware sometimes.
For sure. And I mean, he's trained and everything, but like he gets so excited that he wants to run between your legs because he's a Bernese Mountain Dog. I think they all do this. Every Bernese Mountain Dog I've ever met has run through my legs and just been like, because they wag their little butts and they want you to pet them and everything. Yeah. So like every time he does that, it's like, it's fine for us because we're all pretty tall. But like anytime we have visitors over who are like under 5'10",
it's kind of scary.
It's really scary because they like, if they don't know that he does that, he'll like go between their legs and it's like a little horse coming between them.
Yeah, because I'm shorter, so I have to like carefully position my legs when Chori wants to run between my legs.
Kai will walk in our door and like crouch squat
because I'm just getting ready.
She's always like, where is he?
Because sometimes if I'm not prepared and he runs through my legs, I almost fall over just because I'm short. He runs right into my crotch.
For sure.
So
anyway, that's the whole like story. It's obviously not for a few months here, but we're excited. I mean, we're going to go up to the Oregon coast and everything.
You have to check out some bookstores while you're there.
I know. It'll be really nice because I haven't talked a ton about this on here, but ever since I moved to my new job, my husband and I are on opposite schedules.
Yes, yeah.
So we have like 1.5, 2 days off a week, maybe.
Yeah.
Together. So we've kind of just been a little stressed about it and we kind of just need some like time to hang out. So it'll be really nice. It'll be a good break.
Yeah. The sad part is I probably see each of them more than they see each other right
Absolutely. Because my husband now works in the department that Kai works at.
Yeah. So I see him and talk to him every week. And I see Sam and I talk to her on the phone. So genuinely, I probably see both of them more than they see each other.
Than we see each other, for sure. Like, absolutely.
So it's a little bit sad.
It's a little sad. I'm always like, hey, Kai, how's Em?
He's good. He had a little smile on his face.
Hey, Em, how's Kai? You know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. So that was fun. That was nice. But nothing really crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we are going to talk about our best and worst experience with Planted in Pages.
Dun, dun, dun.
Last season we did best and worst of Poppy books, and I just wanted to kind of remind everybody this isn't like the best book in the world and the worst book in the world. This is really just we go into a bookstore and we ask their booksellers. Sometimes it's one or sometimes it's a group if they're standing there, and we'll ask them what the best read they had recently was, and then one of the worst ones that they've read recently, or ones that they wouldn't recommend recently, because we really don't want to throw shade on any books, because every book will have its niche audience. You know what, there are going to be some exceptions. I'm going to just like throw that out there.
But for the most part.
But yeah, for the most part, we really don't want to like trash any books at all. But we walk in and we want to know recently what you've read that's amazing, and then one that you just like didn't like. Yeah. And then we go and read them, which is super fun. With Poppy books, we read The 13th Child, which we loved. Yes. And Tarantulas, which also wasn't our favorite. So we were pretty like well in line with the booksellers there. And I thought that was great. We loved this experience so much that we've kind of recreated it. And I think that this is going to be a running episode like throughout our seasons with our favorite bookstores, because we want to make sure that we are branching out. And I think that's what this experiment has done for me, is going out of my way to read something that I wouldn't pick out on my own. Yeah. That our booksellers would, which I think is so fun.
Yeah, it's been really great because we really trust the booksellers that we talk to and have relationships with. I really trust them, and I'm like, I trust your judgment. So it was really great. But yeah, we went to Planted and Pages, and they actually chose a theme. And Poppy books didn't last time, and that's totally fine. But it was just super interesting because we really don't give them any direction when we go in. What we normally do is we walk in and we say, hey, we have this concept and we're wondering if you guys could help us out. We want you to recommend one of the best books you've read recently and one that just really wasn't your cup of tea. That's kind of normally how we go about it, because we, as booksellers, we don't want them to feel like they're crapping on a book or not helping us buy books still.
Well, and especially in the bookstores that we go to, they're pretty much indie bookstores. Yes. It's where we shop most of the time. And I don't ever want to go into a bookstore and then write an episode and have that bookstore lose opportunities from authors because we've just like told everybody that they hated an author. Right. It's never going to be that case. We don't want that to happen.
Well, and we both have agreed that these aren't the worst books we've ever read. Like I said, it's just not their cup of tea or not their genre. So we want to be really transparent about that. Nobody has ever come to us and been like, this was the worst book ever, you're gonna hate it. Like they are very open about it, being like, you know, I know some people who liked it, I really didn't love it, this is what it is. But like I said, they went with a theme this time, and it is werewolves.
Which was so interesting.
So interesting, because they knew immediately what the good book was going to be. And then one of them was like, oh my gosh, we should do this. And it's kind of like on theme. So it was really awesome. We're going to start with the worst book because we want to build up from there.
Absolutely. And we have so much to talk about in this episode. So let's just go.
The bad book is called How to Help a Hungry Werewolf.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to be blurb girl here. Yes. This is our Goodreads. It's also on the back of the book. It says, what we do in the shadows with the small town feels of Gilmore Girls in this swoon-worthy romance that will leave readers delightfully cozy and hungry for more. When Cassandra Camberwell returns to her hometown of Hollowbrook to clear out her late grandmother's ramshackle old house, the last thing she expects is Seth Brubaker on her doorstep. Her former best friend was responsible for the worst moment of her high school life, and she can't imagine he wants to do anything but torment her all over again. Until she unearths the real reason this annoyingly gorgeous beast of a man keeps hanging around. He's an actual werewolf, who's certain she's the witch that will ease his suffering. But Cassie just isn't sure if she can trust him again. So Seth offers a pact. He'll teach her all about her undiscovered magic, and she will brew the potions he needs. No feelings, no funny business, just a witch and a werewolf striking a deal. Totally doable, until they get hit with a do-or-die mating bond. And now the heat is rising. In between fights with former bullies and encounters with talking raccoons, they just have to not give in. Unless giving in just might be the very thing they never knew they always wanted.
I'm so sorry I sneezed.
No, that's totally fine. I loved it.
I normally can do really quiet, but that was like my third sneeze and I just couldn't do it.
It was genuinely the most quiet thing I've ever heard.
So anyway, blurb thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. I honestly thought it was pretty accurate. Yeah. Like to the town. It really is. There is this subgenre, and we have an episode coming up about subgenres of romance. This really is like a classic cozy paranormal romance.
So cozy. I would definitely say that's the biggest word to describe it. It was just like a cute little cozy.
Absolutely. And there's so many things in there that you're like, this doesn't feel like it's gonna be cozy, but it definitely is. Like, it's like a cozy romance, but it's paranormal. So yeah, it definitely, just to like preface that, vibes are completely different between these two books. But the blurb, I think, was pretty accurate as to like what it's about.
Yeah.
I will say it doesn't mention some of the like bigger themes. Like it does mention like Cassie had this big bully incident. Like, whatever. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit. Well, let's talk a little bit about what people liked. Okay, once again, we're going to hop over to Reddit here. This is on the Romance Books forum, and it literally is titled How to Help a Hungry Werewolf by Charlotte Stein is an absolute delight.
Ooh.
This is getting back _ to it.
Yeah.
And they wrote, How to Help a Hungry Werewolf by Charlotte Stein basically reads like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy of paranormal smut. The world building is whimsical. The characters are really sweet. The dialogue has moments that are laugh out loud funny. I picked it up on a whim in a bookstore after opening up and reading the line, "Now let's go find a fairy orgy." How could I resist? Also, we have a curvy FMC, an interesting take on fated mates, and some light groveling. Not to mention, some of the scenes towards the end of the book were shockingly dirty.
Absolutely.
Trigger warning, there is some fat phobia in this book, but I think the author handles it well. There's also some minor discussion of shitty parents. That being said, despite the sometimes darker themes, this reads like a cozy paranormal, just with very explicit smut. Anyway, if this seems even remotely up your alley, I 100% recommend picking it up. It was a wonderful escape from reality that I couldn't get put down. And there were quite a few people who came in here and were like, I really loved it. It was just like, people really tended to like the characters specifically. I think people really liked, they really like vibed with. They really were pretty true to like cozy little romantic-y moment.
Yeah, I think they were likable characters.
Yeah, they were normal people for sure.
Yes.
And it was very, like, it definitely wasn't our classic read where it's like, I'm gonna save the world. It's like, I'm genuinely just a normal person
who's just trying to live life.
Died.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in her house. So like, yeah, the characters, people really love them. There was, you know, werewolves, witches, trolls, a bunch of other like fairies, a bunch of very fun things there that were in there. So I thought people like really liked that part that they mentioned here. A lot of people in this post wrote that they were very surprised by the amount of spice in it, only because it was one of those books that really had very little spice for like a good chunk, and then it went like very intense. Yeah. Like it definitely was a very spicy book. It was very like sexually explicit.
Yeah.
So people really liked it. Some people really liked it. It actually is rated a 3.31 on Goodreads. So not typically one that I would, that's a pretty typical rating. Yeah. I think. Average. It's not like a very high rating on Goodreads, but it's not one that would like set me off to being like, oh my gosh, this must be bad.
Yeah, no, I picked it up because a lot of times I will look at Goodreads ratings when I'm walking around the bookstore. I do. And if it's lower than a probably around a 3.3, honestly, then I'm kind of like,
yeah. I'm really like drawn to books if they have like between a 3.8 and like a 4.1.
Yeah, because then it's like, it's very on both sides. People are like, I really like this, or I didn't really like it.
Right. So it's kind of just below like what you would expect for just like a normal read. So that was kind of there.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump into what you did and didn't like?
Yeah, I'll jump right into that. So I audioed this book. Which, did you audio it?
I audioed it.
We audioed this book together, and
the bookstore didn't carry it because it just wasn't their favorite.
Yeah. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but it was okay. I would say, because, you know, in audiobooks, it shows you percentage. I was about 80% in, and there were a couple of like little sexual innuendos, but then that last 20%, my goodness. And you know what? I love a smutty book. I'll be the first to say I'm a slut. I get it. But like, it just was so like jarring to go from like nothing to like bam. And I think if I was better prepared, or if I had some insight about that, I think I would have been more like, okay, yeah, cool. But I just was not.
Yeah, no, I think it was really funny because I also audioed it, and I was trying to like get some of my reading done like throughout the week at like my job and throughout whatever. And so I like had an earphone in or whatever, or I would be driving I drive a lot with my audiobooks.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly I was probably 85% done the book. And
Yeah.
it was right in that like big chunk.
Yeah.
And I stopped at a stoplight and I was turning right. And there was someone in the crosswalk. So I had to wait for them to like go, like get through the crosswalk to turn. And I remember making eye contact with this person. And I, in that moment, was like, they can hear everything.
They totally can.
They totally can.
Yep.
But the person held eye contact with me for, I'm not kidding you, like 30 seconds. And I was like, I need to get out of here. Like, this is so much.
Like, you didn't just like pause it or turn it down.
I didn't. Like, he knew what was there already. He had listened to 10 seconds by the time I realized he was staring at my car. And then I was just like, well. But I definitely had like a distinct moment where I was like, this is a lot of smut for an audiobook.
Yeah, it was. And I don't think, well, no, I've read audiobooks or listened to audiobooks like that before. So it just kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't really ready for it. I don't think I really had any main like big complaints. I think this book delivered what it was supposed to. It was supposed to be a nice, cozy, paranormal book. And I think that's what it was. I didn't have any moments where I was like, this is not giving what it's supposed to. Because was it like major plot points and this and that? No, but that's not what it was supposed to do. So as what it was supposed to do, I think it did great. Was it like something I'd pick up and like recommend to people? I don't really think personally.
Yeah.
Just because that isn't really my cup of tea. I like smut, but like it was kind of goofy. I thought it was super cheesy at some points, but like it delivered what it was supposed to.
For sure. I think that's pretty much my thoughts on it too. I think the author delivered exactly what she wanted to deliver.
Yeah.
With the book, but it really wasn't like either our cup of tea. Like, I think paranormal romance is a little hard for me sometimes, only because romance feels very real. And like the paranormal aspect, I really want to be able to buy into it.
Yeah.
But some of the romance genre that we get from like cozy fiction is really about like this fun, lighthearted thing, and it's hard to buy into sometimes for me.
Yeah, no,
because
I get that.
Because you get the like lighthearted, but then you also get like witches and werewolves, and you're like, oh goodness, like I don't know which way to look for me.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. I think she really did deliver on it. And like I said, like it's not my favorite book.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I do think there were a few things that were like fairly valuable. I liked that the author put in there the main character was like, I think they called her like very curvy.
Yeah.
Her whole bullying incident in high school was about her being called fat.
Yeah.
In front of like a whole school like assembly, which was a little rough because it was such a lighthearted book that I was like, oh my gosh, that would be such a hard thing to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it really wasn't like the main plot point of the thing.
Right.
So I do think there was a lot happening that probably was a lot to handle.
Yeah.
For the book, but overall I thought it was like, it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah.
It was fine. It wasn't my favorite book. Okay, so if I'm rating our like best and worst, I think I disliked Tarantulas way more than I disliked this book.
For sure.
That's actually kind of fun. I love that.
Throwing that in now too.
We're rating in the best and worst of the best and worst now.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely liked it way better than that. Like I said, I don't think I'd recommend it to anybody, but I also wasn't like, I hated reading this.
For sure.
It was a quick read for me, so.
I might actually buy it for like a white elephant because I think that would be such a fun book to like just give to someone.
That's diabolical.
I think that would be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
Okay.
You should make your mom read it.
She would die. She would be so concerned. Okay, let's jump on over to the recommended one.
Yes.
Planted in Pages recommended The Wolf King by Lauren Palfreyman. They specifically said that every time they were able to get this in stock, it immediately sold out. So Lauren is an indie like published person. She's not indie published. She's a self-published author.
Yeah.
So they have to source these books directly from her website, which good for her. She's selling out and she's doing amazing.
Yeah.
But we were also lucky enough to get this recommendation and read it about a week before the second book in the series came out. I think it was actually like 2 days before.
It was close.
It was really close. So we were like the luckiest people ever because we were just like, perfect. Okay, we flew through this book and then we immediately were able to read the second one. So there are spoilers for both books 1 and 2. Not a ton of book 2, but there are definitely themes that continue there. So if you'd like to go read this beforehand, you are welcome to do that. But Kai, do you want to blurb?
I would blurb.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is from Lauren's website. It says, when a princess is kidnapped by an alpha, war rages between the humans and the wolves, but soon forbidden attraction starts to grow. Princess Aurora longs to escape the castle and the marriage that has been arranged for her. But on the night before her wedding, at a dogfight where captured werewolves are made to fight for sport, she spares the life of a young wolf. It puts her on the radar of a powerful alpha who is going to kill him, and it changes everything. That night when the alpha escapes, he kidnaps her and takes her to the rugged lands north of the border, where the once warring werewolves are beginning to unite. He thinks that she is the key to winning the war against the humans. Only as they spend time around one another, forbidden attraction starts to grow. And as Aurora learns that not all wolves are bad, the alpha discovers that she is in danger from both his enemies and those he once considered friends. While monsters on both sides, a bloodthirsty war between humans and wolves raging, and undeniable passion growing between them, will their story end in love or tragedy? And will Aurora ever get home? Does she even want to?
Okay.
Honestly, not my worst blurb, not my best,
blurb.
But that's okay.
Blurb girl.
My thoughts on the blurb.
Yes.
I think that it definitely draws you in. I think it was a good, well written. I feel like it encompassed a lot of it. I don't know that I was like, this covered everything, but this
is amazing.
I thought it was a great introduction and follows what the plot is going to be.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it gives a very good like background context to what we're going to jump into, because we don't ever want to spend 50 minutes to set you up on like understanding what the book is going to be about.
Yeah.
But this does a pretty good job, I think, because we get the character. Aurora is our main girl, and she is a princess. She is in the middle of this arranged marriage process and ends up getting kidnapped by an alpha werewolf, which is amazing. That's the first 50 pages.
Yep. Yeah.
We kind of wanted to jump into a little bit of this book about the characters specifically.
Yes.
First, we did want to talk about Aurora, and honestly, we could talk about Aurora for months. I don't know. I was going to say like a few minutes, but like a long time.
Yeah.
Aurora is a really good FMC. She's very distinct.
Yeah.
Lauren, I think, does a very good job of presenting her as a full human being with her own wants and desires, which I feel like sometimes in cute little romanticies, we don't get that all the time. Like we get someone who could be anyone, but Rora, or they call her Rory,
right?
Really has her own wants and desires, and she doesn't realize it at the beginning, but as we go through this series, she kind of leans into what she needs, which I think is so cool about her.
Yes.
She has been under her dad's control for most of her life. So he was the king. Her mom died tragically. And basically she was trained to be like a very pretty face and do what her dad wanted. And she was really a political pawn for almost all of her life. And then she gets kidnapped by this alpha. And we use kidnapped very lightly because he gives her the decision. He says like, I'll leave you here, or do you want to go with me? Yeah. I mean, basically it's her fault that they get out anyway. So he kind of is just like, do you want to go with us? And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, I'm a prisoner. It's classic, but we loved it. Yes. We use kidnapped lightly. That's what it is. But she is under, at this point, like wolves' control. She's not like free to walk around or leave or whatever. Right. So Aurora is someone who's definitely just coming to terms with who she is and what she wants.
I thought that she, like you kind of were saying, she was great. She knew what she wanted, and I thought that she did awesome. So that's kind of, I know we're going to dive into her a lot more as we get going. So I'm going to keep it there for right now while we're just introducing.
I love it. Okay. After that, we have Callum. Callum is the alpha werewolf who kidnaps her. Yes. And right after that, we have Ryan, who is also a werewolf in Callum's like clan, because this is also like very Scottish themed as well. Like I remember reading some reviews afterwards that said it was like Outlander meets, werewolves, which kind of fun. Like there are a lot of people super into like Scottish romance and everything, but it definitely is a big part of the book. So they are in clans, not like, more werewolf terms,
and they wear kilts.
Yeah, they definitely wear kilts. It's very fun,
which killed me.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
I thought it was hilarious.
But basically she wants to save like Ryan from this like werewolf fight, and Callum is the alpha that she meets, and he takes her up north. where she finds out that the different clans are pretty much united under the king, who is Callum's brother, and his name is James.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get Blake. Blake is the contrast to Callum.
Yes.
He is one of the other alphas. He's very distinct. Like, people are very afraid of him. He's obviously the dark-haired MC in this series, because we have to have one there. Mm-hmm. But he is kind of portrayed as this like evil dude. He's a healer, which is like hard to portray a healer as like the evil one, but he definitely has a penchant for like poisoning people.
Yes.
Which is very fun and evil. And then Sebastian is the man that she was going to be married to originally. So her arranged marriage is supposed to be to Sebastian.
And he sucks.
So we forgot about him until the end here. And then her dad is just Dad King. I think maybe his name is Patrick, because we looked it up, but
we didn't ever get any confirmation. So
and it hits close to home here. So we're not going to talk about Dad King Patrick that much.
Dad King.
He kind of sucks. Also, all three of those people kind of suck.
Okay.
Anyway, so we've got a lot of other secondary characters there, but for the purpose of this episode, we were just like, these are kind of the people we want to mention.
Yeah, the main ones.
Yeah.
We want to talk a little bit about the tropes. We obviously have a little love triangle. We don't really see it as much in the first book, but we do see it more in the second book. But it's one of those moments where you meet the scary, misunderstood male and they just have instant chemistry, but she's with the other guy.
Absolutely. Actually, when I was reading it and you were going to start it right after me, I think I told you this is ACOTAR with wolves.
Yes, and you did say that, and I was like, okay, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no, it definitely is very much set up that way, where she ends up being with someone and they're like the blonde alpha person, they're a leader of their group, and then the like dark-haired person comes in and you're like, oh, is this a love triangle?
Yeah.
But we're not ever clear on that. Like, no. Very far. Because Aurora, again, is very vocal about her own wants and needs. And she is very adamant that she loves Callum.
Yeah. I have a little surprise for Sam.
Yay.
While we were writing this episode, I was like, I need to research something because I haven't been research girl in forever. So I have a little Reddit group for you. It's under the fantasy romance. I think that might have been where we were at before this, actually.
Yeah. We've been in a few of them today.
So this is written by Bacterium of Joy.
Cute.
But they were just talking about the Wolf King in general. And at the end, they say, honestly, I would love this to turn into a why choose. But if she ends up with one of them, I really want it to be Callum. And then from there was lots of discussion about it wanting to be a poly relationship. Like over and over again, everybody's like, no,
I have that Reddit post pulled up.
Do you actually?
I do.
You were supposed to pretend like this was a surprise.
It is. It is so surprising.
But there were so many people who were like, no, it's one person. This is Crazy Cat Ivy says, just finished reading this. I definitely think it's going to be Polly. She will end up being some sort of alpha and Blake will be her mate, but she will still love Callum. I think the fact that they can't kill each other and they end up the book as friends is giving hints. And then someone said, as a why choose reader, absolutely. And then in another one, for some evidence, Lauren posted on her Instagram a poll that said to choose. The options were Callum, Blake, or both. Majority chose both. Oh, this was written by Present Plastic on the forum Reverse Harem. But this is on just the Wolf King. Yeah, it was Callum, Blake, or both, and majority chose both. And when she posted it again later with a wink, everybody's thinking that points to a why choose for the third book, and everybody's like, that's promising. I'm excited because Lauren has also written why choose before.
Interesting.
So I don't really know. What are your vibes there? What do you think?
I know I actually have a lot of thoughts on the love triangle thing, because I think as soon as we finished, we both kind of like went to the internet and were like, why aren't more people talking about this? Like, this is a really good book.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what we found was all about the love interests. And I, at the beginning, was like, yeah, I was super into it. And then I was kind of just like, yeah. And then I was kind of like, this book has so much more than the love interest for it.
For sure.
But I really like the way that Lauren Paul Freeman set this up. Mm-hmm. Even after reading both books 1 and 2, it still feels like it could go in a lot of different ways.
For sure. We talked about this.
Yeah, and I think that the series could be fulfilling with like one of several like resolutions.
Yeah.
I think she could say like, you know what? It's going to be Blake, and I would be totally bought in.
Yeah.
And I think she could say, you know what? No, this is me. I want it to be Callum, and I wouldn't be against it. I would be like, okay, yeah.
Not my fave, but I'd be like, okay, I get it.
I definitely am not like a why choose reader, obviously, but if she found a way to like do that, I still feel like she could set it up to be fulfilling.
Yeah. We've also explored the option of Aurora choosing no one in the end, because that's just kind of who she is like, I don't want to be owned.
Absolutely. And I actually have a quote about that. This is actually from the second book, but it doesn't spoil a ton. So I wanted to go ahead and just share it here, because I think it kind of sums up what we know about Rory and then also what we want for her future, right?
Yeah.
So she says in The Night Prince, which is the sequel, all my life I've swallowed my feelings and entombed them in stone. If it ever cracked, I'd be accused of hysteria. It always struck me as unfair. My father executed anyone who stood in his way, and my brother emerged from King City taverns bloody and bruised most evenings. Yet I was deemed emotional. And she has a few of those moments.
Yes.
Where every moment of her life up until this point, she has been unable to be who she wants to be because of the people who surround her and because of her relationship to politics and men and all of these different factors. And what we have noticed a lot about Rory is that regardless of who she ends up with, all that we really are passionate is that Rory does what is good for her.
Yes.
And that she can come out of this trilogy not swallowing her feelings or changing them to meet the expectations of the people around her, whether that be Callum or Blake or any of the other people in this book. So I think that that's kind of the one point that I was like, that's what made this book so impactful for me, because yeah, it's a romantasy. Like it is definitely like still a fun, cool read, but I came out of this book thinking for a few days afterwards, like, wow, I really appreciated her as an FMC.
Totally.
I really feel like we needed that kind of commentary in romantasy.
Yeah.
Because so oftentimes we see FMCs set up to fall in love and they lose their powers, or they go off and they're the queen to some king and they're whatever. But Rory in the second book a lot of times points out that she is the princess of her realm.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to go off of that a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly in this book, I think they maybe were having sex or they were being intimate at some point, and Callum kept growling like, mine, mine, mine. And we see that a lot in romantasy and romance in general, where the MMC is using verbiage as in mine or I own you. And normally the FMC is into it and they like it. And they're like, yes, like I want him to feel like I'm his
and he's mine. And yeah, there's definitely a possession aspect.
We see that a lot, especially when like they finally get together and like we see it's common. But this time when it happened, when he was saying mine, she finishes and she sits and she's like, all I could think that whole time was, I don't belong to anybody. I'm my own person.
Yeah.
And I think that was just so impactful, because she was able to be like, no, like I like this guy, but I'm my own person. Like he doesn't own me. Even if I do love and care about him, I'm still me and I deserve to be my own person.
Well, and we get that theme throughout the books. You're totally right. We talked about this just barely that we wanted to mention. There is this part, and she kind of makes it a little bit about the clans and werewolf like culture, but there is this part where Callum really wants Aurora to be protected when she meets all of these other wolves, right?
Yeah.
So the solution that they find is that she needs to wear this like collar thing. It's supposed to be like a necklace, like, but it's a plaid as well. So like I'm imagining one of those like 90s chokers things.
Oh, I'm totally imagining like a straight up collar.
Oh no, I definitely wasn't, because it was like the plaid of it. I don't think it has like the weird collar loops, but like it definitely is like plaid because it shows their clan.
Yeah,
for sure. So I definitely was thinking like, the 90s chokers thing.
Yeah. She's like the lace one.
Yeah, absolutely. And she has to like put it on. But there is this whole part where she is just having the hardest time with it, because she's like, what does this mean? Like, because she's pretty good at interpreting werewolf culture. And she'll be like, okay, what does this mean to you? Because I could put this on right now and it wouldn't mean anything to me, but what does it mean? And what am I communicating with it?
Yeah.
Which, way to be, girl.
So intuitive and like, and very, yeah.
Yeah. They straight up tell her, they're like, this means that you are mine. You pertain to me. You are in my clan. And I am the one who's like over you. You're basically mine.
Yeah. So
she has this really, really over the top reaction to it. And it's not over the top in that like it's unreasonable. Over the top in that like she's like, no, this is a hard line. Like, and it was really hard for her to overcome it.
Yeah. She was like, this is like dehumanizing. Like, I am a person. I am the princess. I'm not your little plaything. Like, absolutely.
Well, and she has to use it a few different times because she has to use the little collar. And then at one point she has to switch whose collar she's in. So she has to be in Blake's collar for a minute.
Because somebody
people
steals
have
it.
like visceral reactions to this.
Yeah.
Because it's such a clear like presentation of whose possession she is. But Rory goes above and beyond to make sure that people understand that she doesn't pertain to anyone. Like, she is not their possession.
Right. So I was just really into her. I think like you kind of hit it right on the head that I don't care who she ends up with as long as she feels like it was the best choice for herself. And I'm into that because she just is so good at putting herself first that I trust her judgment. And honestly, I trust Lauren as an author.
Yeah, it absolutely made me trust Lauren as an author because I think it was one of the most refreshing things I've read this year.
Oh, yeah.
To have an FMC who felt like a whole person.
She also liked one of our reels.
I know. I was dying. So, we love you.
Lauren's seen us.
Lauren. That's why we keep calling her by her first name.
Because we're on first name basis.
No, but genuinely we like her. And I think she's one of my, like, if she wrote something, she's probably one of the people that I would like.
You'd always read it.
Buy it. Yeah. Like, I have very few of those people, but I feel like Lauren, with her like ability to write women the way that she does, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to mention, I know we didn't get a ton into more tropes, but I think it's valuable to mention here. We wanted to talk a little bit about the werewolf aspect of the books. I thought the way she wrote the werewolf genre was very interesting. Thankfully, we didn't have to dive back into knotting.
Thank heavens. Oh, and we didn't in the other book either, thankfully.
No, we didn't. There wasn't any knotting in any of this werewolf stuff, which we were a little bit worried about because that was just like a lot for us at the moment.
For sure.
But I did think it was a great book for someone who wasn't extremely familiar with like the alpha or werewolf workings because it seemed to be mostly character focused.
Yes.
Which I really loved because I think we get so deep into like this subgenre sometimes.
Yeah.
That it's hard to realize like some of it's not as accessible as we would want it to be.
Right.
And this book I feel like felt very accessible to people who are familiar with romantasy, but not necessarily like the Omegaverse.
Right. This would have been a good introduction. I wish we could have read this first before everything else. Yeah. Just to kind of like be like, okay, I get it. Dip my toes in.
For sure. It definitely was like a sane, like rational, like take on werewolves, which I loved.
I just loved that.
And it was kind of fun that they were Scottish.
For sure. Overall, I really liked this book. I don't have any major complaints. Do you?
No, I really, really loved this book. And honestly, I think that it should be more popular than it is.
Yes.
I think that eventually we will see it get big.
I completely agree.
So if you haven't read it yet, go read it before every other person in the world has read it, because I genuinely think she is like a great author. Her writing style was fun and accessible. Her characters were really well rounded out.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like really great material in these books, and I think it would be amazing. My one concluding thought, we've talked about this a little bit, is I wanted to jump a little bit more into Blake.
Oh, okay.
We can do like maybe 1 or 2 minutes here on it. Just
I'm
because,
ready. Yeah. I loved Blake.
I loved him too. I thought he was really great. I think both of us were a little bit like confused because we haven't gotten his backstory yet.
Yes.
Even after book 2.
Oh my goodness. Actually, I want to talk about this. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah. This was one of our main like talking points.
Yeah. This dives a little bit more into book 2, which we're going to cover at some point, but I finished book 2 and I said to Sam, I remember texting her and being like, hey, I loved it, but this kind of didn't follow the normal relationship love triangle direction that you would think it would go in. Because we said originally this is like an ACOTAR werewolf book, but it didn't follow it. She ends up with Blake, but not like that. Like they just are in close quarters.
Yeah, they're working together towards like a common goal.
But there still is like no romance. Like there's little flirtations, but they still haven't like slept together or like kissed on their own or anything. And he really doesn't like, not yearn for her necessarily, but it just didn't follow the normal like love triangle where like the bad guy ends up being like really awesome, and then he's like really nice to only her. Like he's low-key still not nice to her, and we don't know anything about him.
Well, and we really, we haven't seen that he loves her at all, which we know for a fact. Callum is very dedicated to her.
Yes.
He loves her. He's whatever. But Blake's backstory is slowly coming to light, but we don't have enough of it to understand the way that he's acting, because he really is still genuinely in the like dark, morally gray, whatever, like corrupt person. And now we like have found out that he's kind of involved in some crazy stuff as well. Yeah. But we don't have his redeeming stuff yet. Yeah. So it's going to be so interesting.
Yeah. He just seems to be in kind of survival mode. So we're still trying to figure out kind of what his morals are and what he stands on and what actually is the story, because we find out little bit by little bit, but it's still like, I still don't think we know it all.
Right. And Lauren could turn around tomorrow in book 3 and be like, hey, he actually sucks. And I would believe it, because we don't have enough information about him to be completely like convinced, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he treats people who are close to him really well. So we do see those like secret, like behind doors, like he treats people awesome who he cares about.
Absolutely.
But we still just don't really know much, except that he has people who are loyal to him and he obviously cares about Aurora, but we don't know anything past that.
Yeah. And we also don't understand his critiques of Callum yet. Because he specifically goes out of his way to be like, people do not like him as much as he thinks that they do, like several times, and we don't really see why yet.
Yeah.
But we only have one more book. So
I know.
Book 3 we've talked about has so much to get through, and it's going to be so exciting. We're so happy about it. Hopefully it'll be coming out next year in 2026.
That's kind of the vibes I've heard and gotten.
Yeah. So we're really excited about it. I think it will be really great. Again, go read this book. It'll be perfect for you if you like all the things we've talked about. And please let us know your thoughts, because we don't know a lot of people in our lives who've read this series yet. Yes. And we would really love to hear from you.
Love. Okay, next episode, we're diving into something a little different. We're delving a little more into the YA, but it's not extremely YA, would you say?
No, I thought it was really nice. Like, I thought it was a good middle there.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd fully say YA, but I also wouldn't be like, this was crazy adult, you know?
Yeah. It wasn't like rated R.
Nah, but we're talking about the Belladonna trilogy. What is the actual title of the trilogy? Do you know?
I don't know. Let's look.
Okay, so yeah, the series is called Belladonna, but we read it fairly recently. It has 3 books. We're talking about the trilogy, and we're excited.
It was very fun. I really liked that read.
And
I think it's been like a long enough time between like our deep dives into like trilogy that I think it's going to be super fun to get to like talk in depth with you about the characters and everyone we were able to get to know in this book.
Yeah, so catch us here next week for that. If you liked today's episode, you are in luck. We post every Monday. And if you're looking to get your fix throughout the week, you can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the Bookyard Pod. See you guys.
Bye.